Hey guys, what's going on? So we are here with a new game, a brand new game, and that's not all that's new. I got a new haircut, if you noticed. I actually really like it so far. I was a little torn on it at first, but the more I look at it, the more I like it, and I hope you feel the same way, especially all the ladies out there. Wow, that was dumb. But anywho, this is a game called the Stanley Parable. My dad actually recommended this game to me, but he said that he wasn't sure if it was supposed to be funny or creepy, and that it's like... He said it's like a dark humor kind of creepy game. So I'm really excited to check that out. And let us start the game of the Stanley Parable! Oh, that's cool. Look at the computer screen. It moves the mouse like I move the mouse. That's awesome. Okay. Let us start! End is never the end. End is never the end. End is never the end. Loading. End is loading. The end is loading. Never the end is. Never the end is. Click to skip.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Was he made exactly for this job?
And then one day, something
Stanley
very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright. I'm done with this job! Forget you, Mr. Jameson!
All of his co-workers had gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So weird. This is kind of creepy. I guess you were right, Dad. I'll never be my Valentine. I'll never... Okay, we're wasting power here, people. Let's turn all these computer monitors back off. Is this just a reflection? Or is that... Oh. Okay, that's obviously locked. Man, I really hope this isn't a horror game, because I don't think it is. Maybe this should have been played on Fright Night Friday, but maybe not. I hate Mondays. Good thing it's a Wednesday. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
See, about that, I like right more.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Well, of course. That is all I'd ever want to do, is stop at the employee...
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
There's gotta be something hidden in here. What's going on?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Thank you, sir. I agree. Okay, there's gotta be... I don't know if I trust this narrator.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Well, thank you, sir. That means a lot to me that you think that's why everyone left. It's all centered around me, Stanley.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Fine. I'll take the message.
He'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
I don't know. Right's been pretty good for me so far.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop! Alright. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Oh, do you?
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Which is what the people are here for. It's called the Stanley Parable.
Stanley, someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Her? Oh no. You guys have my wife captive or something?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
My wife? Sweetie?
Oh. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I do. I believe you, narrator. Sweetie? Hello?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
She sounds so beautiful.
Right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
What? No, I'm getting out of here.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Oh gosh, that was creepy. I want out of here. You're a jerk.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
No. Press 1 on your keyboard. I'm gonna press 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. No. I refuse to press 1 on my keyboard. I'm gonna press escape. No, it's brought up the menu. Okay. Press 1 on your keyboard. No. Enter. Delete. Shift. Caps lock. Anything to get you out of here. I can't believe you'd do that. You sounded so sweet on the phone. Is there really no bread? Because that sounded pretty good. I will not. I will press 4 to 7. Fine, I'll press 1. Whatever.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Okay.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
What in the world?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Now listen here, sir. I got my own rights, and I think I'm a pretty cool guy.
He went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
What? Tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
What? Oh, I love you, sweetheart.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm not going to do it. For some reason, I feel like this narrator is mean, but he's trying to help me. Because Stanley has had a terrible life. I will not push the button. I refuse. I refuse to push the button because I know it's just going to transport me back to the office. And then it's just going to start this whole insane process over. And I will not do that. I'm going to stay here at my home with my loving plastic wife. And I don't need you telling me whether it's a good life or not. Because guess what? I think Stanley's life looks pretty good from here. And you know what, Stanley? Regardless of what everybody says about you, if you enjoy your life, you go enjoy your life, Stanley. And it seems like you like pressing buttons every day. But who knows? Maybe you hate it. And if you hate it, then guess what? I'm not going to press the button, so it's going to end up good for you. But if you do like pressing buttons, sorry, I'm going to be the guy that keeps you from this horrible existence you're leading where you're pressing buttons. I know I just said that this could be a good existence for you, but I mean, come on, dude. Your job is you press buttons on a screen. I press buttons on the screen, but I do it in like by my own free will. Or do I do it by my own free will? Is this really the Matrix? Are the robots plugged into me? Are they using my electricity to feed the battery machine? Or maybe it's an entirely different future, one where instead of like machines, it's aliens, and the aliens are slowly inspecting our brains and making us picture all these crazy things. And I know you're doing this to me, game, and I know you're trying to play the long game and see how long it takes for me to press the button. But guess what? I'm not gonna press the button. I'm just gonna sit right here. I'm going to sit right here in my cozy chair with the audience with me, and we're just going to sit here and we're going to wait for you to do the inevitable and say how good we are for not pressing the button, because we're not going to press the button because we are in the right. Give it up, Peter. I have control of your body. No, you don't. I have control of my body now, Dr. Octopus, and no matter what you do, you're going down. Oh, you're right. You're so much better than me. Why did I call myself the superior Spider-Man? I don't know. It's because I'm pretty amazing. Wow, George, wow. Cause I wonder sometimes about the outcome of a still addict to this life. Hey buddy, we haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Doing pretty good? thing? Shut up, Mike. You think I'm going to press the button after this long? Yes, I'm pressing the button. This is just miserable.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to.
Oh, too bad,
I
huh?
don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
I'm so scared right now. I don't know what. End is never the end is never the end is loading. What? It all started over? Well, I guess there's a good taste of the Stanley Parable for you. If you liked that, I'm definitely going to be playing more of this. I have never seen anything of this game, and it's amazing so far. Like I said before, my dad recommended it to me, and Dad, good recommendation. Seriously, guys, check this one out. It's on Steam, and it is just awesome. Holy cow, I'm loving this. And I know you might be sad because that was a really downer first episode, actually, because, man, poor Stanley. But, I mean, there's supposed to be, like, I think, like, at least over 20 different endings to this game, I think. And we're going to check all those out in a later video. Cheers!